Right, good evening, good afternoon, whenever it is that you're watching this nonsense. Welcome to episode whatever of the Rugby League podcast. As always, we've got Wayne with us.
All right, everybody.
Well, that was a delayed response. Is he in a different consonant? And you'll see today as well, we've got the bosses with us. We've got Big Allan Coleman and Big Stu Littler. So welcome to you both.
Hi, guys.
Hi, everyone.
So what we'll do is, rather than sort of bore you with questions that are absolute nonsense, Wayne's wrote them this week. So if they're rubbish, it's his fault. So I'm going to throw him under the bus before we've even started. We've actually had loads and loads of fan questions. Probably more questions than we've got fans, if we're being perfectly honest with you. And so what we thought we'd write a few down, and then if me and Wayne come up with anything, we'll throw them at you as well. So the first question is by Stephen Williams, and this is: do you feel that this year's squad is a lot stronger than last year's?
Obviously, looking at it, yeah, I'd say so. That's no detriment to who's gone out of the club. No. I just think with the squad depth we've got now, the numbers in the squad, obviously we've got 26 plus hot off the press for the lad on trial with us, so 27. It's 27 plus potential of short-term loans, what have been talked about and stuff. And looking at the competition for spots, so we've got at least 3 for every spot, 4 for some, 5 for others. There's a lot of competition now within that squad. So, yeah, I would say we're in a lot better position with bodies-wise at training. We've got a lot more numbers down at training. I know I heard Rodri speak to you guys last week and obviously talk about if someone probably doesn't shape up, then there's going to be some tough conversations. And I told the lads honestly last week that 27 into 17 doesn't fit, no matter who's trying to fit it in. And you'll make them decisions for us, and we'll be led by whoever's performing in training and performing on game day when the games come round. I do think, obviously, full back into the fans. The fans have been tremendous again. And obviously, we had a lot of donations. I think Steve said about 97% of the fans donated money again to the club and to the cause, which has allowed us to spend and recruit in a different pond than what we would have been recruiting for if everyone had asked for money back, which obviously they was entitled to. So I like to put full credit to our fans. Again, been amazing since I've been at the club and stood up in a good number of times now and fought for the cause, and that's massive for us as a club.
Yeah, cool, super. Do you think dropping dual reg, do you think that's made us stronger as a team overall?
So obviously with the dual reg, it got scrapped because of the COVID, and I totally get it. Coming out of one bubble, going back into another, it's not probably ideal. The way the dual reg used to work, where the Wigan boys would train Monday, maybe sometimes up to Thursday, then train Thursday evening with us and Saturday, depending on what they were doing and what their schedule was, whether it was on a Friday game or a Sunday game. They train with us twice in the week, so obviously a Thursday night and a Saturday morning, play on the Sunday for us. But obviously, we got the news last year that was going to be scrapped with the COVID coming around and stuff. Then sat down with the board and said we needed numbers because we were reliant probably on 3 to 4 Wiganers each week, filling our squad or making our squad up and making it championship ready type thing. So we sat down with the board and obviously discussed about getting more numbers in and more competition for places, and we needed to get our business done early. So we did go with a bigger squad, which has probably helped us. Like I said, I'd imagine a few of the clubs in Super League will be looking to loan some players out at some point, because there's a lot of players. I know people have chopped the squads down, but there's still a lot of players who might not be playing rugby, especially early on before the injuries hit and stuff. And you can't go a full year without playing rugby and expect someone to come into your side and be competent, whether that's midway through the year, whether that's playoff time. That's the balancing act what they're going to have to come up with. I don't know whether this short loan thing will get passed. We're still obviously in the RFL's hands. It'll probably help us as a club and help the feeder club, whoever that may be, if they could do a shorter, because if it goes for a month is a long time to be without. I don't know. Say for instance, we had 4 centres and I let one go on loan, but then both my centres get injured, and you're sort of up against it. If they've not gone for a month, you've got 3 weeks there. You got no option to call them back. If it's a 2-week loan, it obviously then helps them teams involved looking at it from everyone's sides, not just a Swinton side type thing.
Yeah.
Do you think from like a coaching point of view, is it better to know your squad? So like you said, 26, 27 players. Is it better to know you've got a bigger squad that are actually Swinton players? Obviously, we get some great players from Wigan, but is it, from your point of view, is it better to know these are my players that I know they're going to be here?
I've always been honest with the lads, and I've always said our lads get first go at jerseys. We all train together through the off-season. We all start the season together, and then it's in your hands whether you keep that jersey or whether someone comes in. Obviously, if you start getting offered Chris Hankinson's, Harry Smith's, and players of that ilk, Tom Davis's previously, Liam Marshall's, there's some quality been on that pitch in Swinton jerseys, do you know, and are we a better team than them boys play? Are we not? There's a balance. I get where you're coming from. With your squad, you don't get anyone pulled out of your squad if it's your boys. But also, there's sometimes we have needed that to lean on to get a 17 on the bench for the weekend. Never mind to improve the team, just to have the numbers wise to get it right. To have that we went with 19 players with the 2 reserves going over. Massive respect to Wigan. They've been great as partners. They've allowed us to go over whenever we want to go over, watch sessions. They've been close. Obviously got closer with Darryl Goulding over the last couple of years. And like I said, we have had access to some quality players. If it was just a loan systems, obviously that then frees up other clubs in our catchment area. We're pretty local to a good few Super League teams. So it's just there if you need be. Obviously, like I said, if we start the season and we start on fire, then there's no need to look anywhere else, is there? But it's just if you did get, I don't know, 2 props got injured at the same time, and then you might need to get the balance of your squad back. There's hopefully loans available there with the clubs if needed. It's always if needed. And like I said, full respect to the board. They've backed our vision as a performance team and where we want to take the team.
I mean, going on from that, it kind of leads on to our next question. Marvin Willis has asked, what qualities do you look for in a player when you're looking at signing them?
I've got an answer. Allan's not sport yet, though, so I'm just worried about him. He's not had anything but say. You're all right. So, first of all, my thing wouldn't be rugby-wise. It'd be, what are you the character like? Who is it? What do we know about him? What can we find out? I'd ask maybe Allan to do some digging with his connections if he was coming from, say, the amateur scene. If he was a younger lad, he might have come through the England development squad with Allan and stuff. If it was a senior player, I'd do some digging. I've got obviously some contacts at other teams, speak to a few people, get my missus, do a bit of social media digging, see what we can find out. And biggest thing is I go and meet everybody. I will go and physically meet every person that comes into our organisation because I want to get a feel for a person. I want to know that's the right individual coming into our organisation. Once we meet that criteria, then it's a question on what do you want from us? What are you looking for? What are you looking for in your career? Where are you looking to go? What are your goals? And guess what? Someone might be open and honest and say, I only intend to be at Swinton 1 year and I'm going to be higher or I'm going to get a better contract. And you've got to take that and take that respect. And if that player comes and does the business, then he deserves a pay rise, whether that be with us or whether that be somewhere else. That's the world we live in. That's professional sport. That's professional rugby league. If we can get the education, get the skill set and the desire into that player that they do perform, then they quite rightly deserve rewarding. Whether that be, like I said, with us as a club, ideally, but obviously, like what's happened previously, we've had lads who've gone to Super League clubs, but they go with our best wishes. And like I said in an interview last week, you've got to give these lads, they've got to have dreams. And if they're dreaming Super League, then that's good for Swinton as a team. If they want to be, they're saying the Super League quality, then they've got to prove that in the Championship, which means our team should be a lot stronger.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned that your missus does some social media digging. You need to have Have you seen Gmo's boots? He had a picture of them the other week. They're horrendous. I mean, the fact that he must be a good one, seeing as he's got past that. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
To be fair, Geronimo trained with us before lockdown, so he was training with us last year.
Yeah.
He was about to make a decision on whether to take him or not, and lockdown came about. So his missus actually works in a school in Oldham Way, and she had obviously he was over on a partner. Well, he had to go back on a partner visa because the visa he come in on was the wrong one to play rugby. So he had to go back, and he went back and then got stuck in New Zealand. So his missus was here and he was in New Zealand. But again, we stayed in contact, we stayed in touch. We thought there was something about him in training. Myself and Allan discussed it. And then Geronimo's come for all the right reasons. We had a lot of competition for his signature, and he wanted to play for us and to play for Swinton and to play with the group of lads what we've got. He's come down, he's looked at our system inside out. He's been at another few clubs and he's decided we're the club for him and we're doing things the right way. And again, probably the chance for him to progress his career again with us or put himself in the shop window for bigger things.
That's brilliant. I mean, you mentioned the amateur game and Allan's sort of links to the amateur game. Now, you were at Lee Miners for years, weren't you, Allan? Am I right in thinking that your lad plays for them as well?
Yeah, I was at Lee Miners from 2012 to 2016, 17. I was at the reserves at the time when Stu was at Lee, to be honest, working with Neil Dukes, and I think Millward was head coach then, and basically they went into financial difficulties, so they had to scrap the alliance as such. So I got a phone call from the club. I'd played there all for years and years and been involved doing 18s and stuff. So I ended up going back there, to be honest. And I had probably 5-6 fantastic years. The club were really successful. My son's there now, currently playing. Obviously, they're not playing now, but before lockdown, they was. Yeah, it's a big part of my life, to be honest. And basically, obviously, knowing Stu since being kids kind of thing, there's so much talent and skill and quality within that group and that area. And basically, us as a club, at minute, we've got to focus on them areas, because them areas are what we can offer people realistically, dreams, opportunities, and making them realistic. Whereas some Super League clubs don't really target that area because they want the finished product before they get it. You know, Stu will agree with me here. You know, we take people you see past what they're playing at the moment, because if they're coached properly and correctly, they can get to a level. Just a couple, as you know, Frankie Alton, come from Lee Miners, you know, he's done fantastic. I know he spoke to Stuart for advice before he moved on. Matty Ashton, another. And these guys are playing community rugby week in, week out before they come to us. So basically, with my background and Stu's background of being a full-time professional, I think we hit the market quite well, really, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, my eldest daughter, her cousin was at Warrington, and he left Warrington and went to Miners because he wasn't enjoying his rugby. And the thing that he said was, he's like the community spirit around the club is unreal. I mean, that side, like my daughter's side of the family played for Miners for generations, I think. And so they're sort of like my ex-missus coaches the girls, and my daughter plays for the girls, and all the cousins play for the lads teams at different ages. So it's sort of in their DNA. But every single one of them says, like, it is one massive family and that everything's done right there. And I think that sort of, with the lads that you see from that sort of community club, you do see that the fact that they know what they're doing, basically. And it's sort of testimony to what's going on down there.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of successful amateur clubs, but But if you look at Lee Miners over there, I think it's the last 4 years now, especially under 18s level, they've been in 3 national cup finals. They've won it. They've won 3 leagues. Basically, there's a really good age group. So you've got to reward the junior club as well, because they're coaching them from 4 or 5 year olds. You know, when they get to 15, 16, the Super League clubs are coming in and cherry picking the best. But it's also a credit to the people who has to pick up the pieces as well, because there's so many that obviously go to a club and don't quite make it. But that doesn't give anyone the right to tell somebody at 15 they're good enough or they're not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, there's people who develop later, and I just think there's so many good coaches at every different club, especially 18s level. It's a really tough age to keep them off the booze, keep their heads straight, keep them interested in the game, you know, and there's avenues there what teams like Swinton and other clubs in Championship can tap into, big style kind of thing.
I think it's been proved, isn't it, that playing at Championship clubs, and certainly Swinton, it is that step in between that players need, in it, at that age. You know what I mean? It's a good step, a good competition. We spoke about it, like you said, with Rodri and Luke. The level of the competition is perfect to make that step from amateur or maybe a lower division. And it's a nice in-between to Super League, isn't it? Really gets you ready for, if you are good enough to move on, it's a perfect sort of platform to do it.
Each level is a step up, obviously, from minors who would aim to get in the Premier Division, to step up then to League One, to step up to Championship, step up to Super League. It's all a step up, and it all gets a bit faster, and your decision making's got to be a bit quicker. But what we have showed, obviously, with the 2 boys we spoke about, I'd add into that obviously we've got a couple now, Louis Brogan, who's probably he played every game before lockdown. Ben Ayres, who's in the squad. Obviously, Geronimo's classed as an amateur, is signed. And there's a pathway there that people can come in and be successful, both with us and get better contracts with us as a club, but also moving on to wherever that may be to fulfil their dreams. Like I said, Allan's got a massive part to play in that, and obviously plays his role down a bit. He's got his finger on his pulse. We've got the amateur setup, who's coming through. Quite like think we're a bit ahead of a few other clubs in that, because obviously of the role that Allan plays with his role with the England Lions and what he needs to look at and where he needs to go. Going back to what you said, Barney, I think I know who you're on about, and I've already spoke to him as well, so we know that one, and he needs to play at minors this year, and we'll monitor that one, how that one goes, and just have a look at him playing again. He just needs to get a smile on his face and enjoying it with his mates, and then obviously on the back of that, you can come and play. If there's no point, me and Allan firmly believe that there's no point taking someone out of an environment and then not playing rugby for a year, because it'd just be a waste and they don't learn anything. They can come and train, but then don't get that end product. They don't get the review on, yeah, you're doing this well, but we can improve this. And that's how we get there. If you're just training and then towards the back end of our week, our training schedule changes, and when we're going to games, and you've got to work with your team because we need that team to play at weekend. We can't keep chopping and changing everyone to look at such a body on a Saturday morning, because that's not going to be our team. Our 13 and our 17 needs to train together towards the end of a week, because that they've got to bring in cohesion when it comes to Sunday. But yeah, we're massive on giving opportunities to every kid out there, and any player. There's loads of ways of getting in touch now. People get in touch in different ways. We look at people. Like I said, we've got a lad currently on trial with us. He's 1 week into a trial, and we'll have a look at him, and he'll have a look at us, and they'll come to an opinion, whether it's for them. And obviously, the step up is more of a commitment than what they used to at amateur level. We do expect a bit of an higher standards as a professional club, which I think is only right. We do expect more of our boys, but does the end product at the end of it, if you come and rip in, and then you can now look at your Frankie Altons, you can look at your Matty Ashtons, who are shining lights for us, and make that sell a lot easier for us when we're coming to speak to players now.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
sort of going on. Sorry, Barney. Sort of going on. I think it sort of leads on to our next question. It's off Andy Greenhouse, and he's basically said, obviously, we all know the situation at the minute, but where do you think the players' fitness levels are at? You know, from the bits that you've seen them, obviously we have Rodri and Luke on, and they both, said they're doing a bit. But from the coaching point of view, where do you think the players are at the minute?
We're not in a bad place as a group, to be fair. We trained before Christmas, so we got some training. Obviously, the protocols was a bit different before Christmas. And then we got the lads in for a session up Rivington Pike on the 28th, one contact session between a Christmas break type thing. Just as it was a conditioning session, so a fitness session. And then we was due to come back in, and we got shut down by the RFL. So it was on the way to training. It was actually after work, and it was on our way, and we just got told we had to turn around and we weren't allowed to train. So we had a couple of weeks there without actually face-to-face contact. But obviously learning from last time with the lockdown, and I must again pay credit to our players and our coaching staff. I've got a great staff. They all work hard. They go over and above, a lot of them. I'm probably a menace because I message them at strange times at night and talking how I can get something better. I'm big about, obviously, how we improve things, and we've been bouncing messages around, sometimes 11 o'clock, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes, I try my best not to, and obviously these guys know that. I try my best to keep me cool as well, but sometimes it comes out. But yeah, I've got an hard-working group, and we've come up with different structures. So through the lockdown, and we had challenges going on, and it started off with a fitness challenge, and then obviously Allan come up with a good challenge. Actually, we all baked a cake, so we had a bake-off. It went on through last lockdown. Everyone sent the cakes in. We had a winner on that. We did rate my play as well, so to create that, because we was missing that banter. And usually on a Tuesday we have a tit of the week competition. So whoever's messed up in the week, the lads will throw something in there. Luke Waterworth's the judge, and we have a court running. If they want to appeal, then obviously it costs them a bit to appeal, to put in the kit if they lose their appeal, and it builds that kitty money up and stuff. And that's a bit of banter, but instead when we were starting off with the training, the lads were doing the training, and that was what we was missing, the team togetherness and the camaraderie. So we had to obviously factor in. So I spoke with Allan, and obviously some good ideas off the back of that, and put us in a good position. So skipping back to the question, I think we're in a good place. I've got a great conditioner. Doug Owen does a lot with the boys, still rips in and does it himself. Jamie Acton's come on board with us and doing a bit on the defensive side, and the wrestle and the contact, as well as conditioning as well. He's a personal trainer. So in different type of fitness, so more functional body movements, which has been good for the boys moving into, because we've had a long period without playing. So getting the different stretches in and stuff, and getting that functional body movements, what we need for when we start playing. And we are a bit probably behind on the contacts of where we usually would be, but I'd like to think we're in front on the field and in front on the fitness. So we can only go with the contact up in that when the protocol's lifted. So it's looking at the moment this week in February. So then that'll start getting ramped up then, and we can obviously start catching up and getting up to speed, because that'd be a worry if we went a bit further with having so long off and then being close to playing again, with risk of injuries.
Yeah.
Just on that as well. Just on that, Stu's not told you, it depends how much red wine he's had first when he's texting late at night. And one of the best cakes I've ever seen in that cake off was Dougie Owens. It come just a pair of tits. It was just a pair of tits there. Right. Absolutely. If Paul Hollywood would have judged that, he'd have had it all over, mate. He'd have been all over the show.
So was he the winner? Was he the winner of the Bake Off then? Did he win with that, or was there somebody even that?
No,
who won it, Stu?
I don't know.
I can't remember, to be honest. It was just
Oscar won it.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. Can't say, can we?
Fantastic. I mean, that question's absolutely brilliant, that coming from Andy Greenhouse, because he's like the unfittest, fattest man you'll see. So it's like he's asking that, and I don't know why. It's like, I think he's living his fantasies out through other people there by asking that question. So
you said before about what we look for in a player. So obviously on a player type thing as well. Obviously we're looking at skill level, but also that someone that competes. I want someone who wants to win. So whether it be a competition in the weights, competition who's the best, who's the fittest, competition who's the strongest, competition who's the fastest, who's the best at agility. I want everything to be a competition and people to take it personal when we lose. So a big thing would be that competition. And then obviously the board again have backed us this year and we've got some new analysis systems in place. So that then again has provided another competition element within the squad. They're all now looking at who's covered how many kilometres, who's got the most impacts, who's got the fastest in the session, who's done the most hardest run efforts. And that then going into a game can only improve us as well as a team when they start getting this data. And I'm telling them Cameron Munster's covered so many K in an Origin game, and you need to be getting near that if you're telling me you want to be at that level. So it's just another tool and stuff. And we were just big on trying to create everything. I read a lot, so I'm a bit of a nerd, to be fair. Read a lot of books on sport, on leadership, on different sports, on different managers. Pete Carroll's a real good one at the Seattle Seahawks, and he says compete to win on everything, and it's instilled in all his players. And obviously the Seahawks have been successful a few years ago and stuff. Obviously Belichick's books are similar to ones he's done and stuff, and there's loads of transitional skills from that. But yeah, I think it's just in you, and obviously I'd put like Mike Butt epitomises it. He wants to win everything. He wants to be the best he can be, which if you get that in a player, then it's a lot easier to coach that player than someone who doesn't matter if we lose, because that'll probably come in your game on Sundays as well. And we want to win all the time. Do you know, I want to win. Obviously I realise we're playing sport. Can't win all the time, but Floyd Mayweather says different, so he's never been beat. So that's the aim for everybody.
That's it.
Sorry, Stu, you sort of touched on it there, but Reece Griffiths has asked this new tracking sort of training equipment with the club have got hold of, maybe with help from the trust. What exactly does it track, and what information does it give you? Alan could ask that one. Answer that one, sorry.
They've got it for me, Wayne, because I must cover about 40 kilometres every Sunday with that yellow vest on. Everywhere. No, to be serious, mate, Stu's come up with all that. I'll let him answer in a minute, but it's an eye-opener. It's an eye-opener to me because it's really good technology. It's fantastic, and people think, is it worth it? Is it just tell you things what you can see when you're watching a game and you study a game? There's so much stuff on there, mate, you'd never pick up in a game. Absolutely no chance. And if you want to strive to be better and give the players more information for how they can be better, it's a perfect tool, isn't it, Stu?
Yeah, so the tools we got, obviously, I've just done a press release, actually, for it's coming out. It should be coming out in the next couple of, I don't know, before the end of the month, maybe, with the partners who we've gone with. So we've gone with NAC Sport, who I had anyway. I had a personal account with them to myself, so I was running all our club video reviews and stuff from my account. Obviously, I wanted to get Cordial, Chris Wharton, our lead analyst, and Allan access to the same programme, so it makes sharing between us, it gives us three eyes rather than just my opinion on things, and it gives us different opinions and obviously we can branch off from that and have micro population. So I might say to Allan, do something with the kickers, and he can go and do something with that. We can do something forwards, back, split, defence, attack, split it up however you want. So then there's 3 programmes on that now. So obviously with 2 club accounts, so that puts the club in a stronger position as a whole. From the back of that, then there's a tool to go with the NAC Sport, which allows you to draw on your videos. So a bit like, I don't know if you see Gary Neville and Carragher and they highlight someone, and it just makes it easier for our lads to understand. So if I'm saying get a D-man here, if I highlight him on a video, that's easier for them that's visual. So obviously, sorry, coming from, I know Barney's a teacher as well, so coming from your teacher and your old back and all that. But obviously, it makes it a lot easier for them to recognise that's the man we're aiming for, and he's highlighted there, and even put an arrow on and we're running outside him, or we're ganging on him and what we're doing. And so that's clip draw as a tool to use with the NAC, so that upgraded our videos and should make them more interactive for the playing group. On the back of that, we then got, so most Super League clubs, when you look at them now, would have a classroom. Castleford Tigers are really good. They've got like probably at least, I don't know if they've got one for all the squad, but they've got one for all the first team, and they'll be able to review the games and go through the games. And obviously in Super League, you get access to Opta, which is, I could look on Wayne Berry, missed tackles, and it'd tell me every missed tackle you've done this year, and whether that's inside shoulder, outside shoulder. So if it's on your left shoulder, I know where I'm attacking this week, I'm coming at your left shoulder. And that's where we're trying to get access to our boys. So we do a preview, a review, we do individual clips. So I wanted somewhere to share that. And with us not having, obviously, we are growing and we're getting, obviously, some stuff on the back of it. But again, it's not really apparent for us to have a specific classroom, because we try to not minimise our contact time, but I'm wary of our lads. They work all day doing different jobs, and how much they're going to give there, because they're giving Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays. They give them up for the club, and they give them up for us, and they give them up for Rugby League. And yeah, so I'm then worrying on that time frame. So we paid for sharing, which is a cloud. So it allows us to share everything on a cloud. So then you have got to get access to that on your laptop, on your iPad, on whatever tablet, on your phone. So a lad can genuinely now look at that in a changing room before a game. Everybody's got technology now. Everyone's got that. So why do we not utilise it? And like Alan's just said, I'm trying to get this club be as innovative as we can and be as up to speed with the leading lights. And obviously everything's got to be funded right and be able to be affordable and stuff. But that was what that gave us. On the back of that, we then got the GPS systems. So we've got 10 GPS systems. Obviously, GPS cost a bit more. So we couldn't currently budget for a full team. Ideally, you'd want 17 of them. I would as a playing group. GPS, if you've not seen it, it goes back in the back of your shirt.
So there's the little square thing.
There's a little pockets in the back of the playing shirts. But they have like a bra on it, it's like a skins bra, so a compression bra with it, and they have the units on over the training top. And then, like Allan says, it gives us access to kilometres covered in the session, who's putting it in. There's no hiding places, basically. Whereas if you're in a game and you sort of filter out at wing and maybe get a breather, them days are gone. And not just the negative side, on the positive as well. We can look as a coaching staff. I can say, I don't know, Will Oates looking a bit fatigued, and I look, and he's covered 8K, so he is going to be, he might need a rest. And it gives us that. Or Will Oak comes to us on a Tuesday and says, my body's aching. I've got evidence there now to back that up. He's had a big game on Sunday. I need him for Sunday next week. He might be, you don't train tonight. Do you know? And we've got to use that in both ways. Because at the end of the day, we need players on that field on Sunday performing the best they can perform. Yeah. Sometimes that means rest. Sometimes that means train. We've got to get that balance. But like Allan said, it takes away the guesswork and our eyes and puts some actual specific, hard and data-driven decisions behind it. So we can say, and also with players, we can say, how do you think you played out of 10? Give you the rating. And so I'll look at his stats to your stats. What did they tell me? Yeah. So you sort of giving it another tool to go back to the players with, and some accountability for performances, really.
Fantastic.
It almost puts the facts on the table, doesn't it, and makes it easier. Even as a player, you sort of can see yourself that maybe I've got to do that, or like I say, not necessarily in a negative way, but he puts the facts on the table, doesn't it, for each player, and it makes it easier for not only for you but for the player to say, I've got to do X, Y, and Z, and this is the area sort of thing. So I mean, that's
again on that competition. We spoke with Allan, and we've been trying to get the boys as well through pre-season. So like last week, we had all the big boys in them and said, like, let's see them, let's see who's the best, and get all the backs in them and see who's the best again. And it just gives us another tool, and it's created competition within itself. Obviously, what we wanted, but it's probably gone above where we thought. And I know, obviously, I pushed hard to get it, because I said before with the board and Damien and Steve got right behind it, and Stuart and the rest of the board, that we've got to create the best learning environment for these boys, because we've not got mega money, do you know what I mean, to throw at people. So we've got to get the boys to think that when I turn up at training, I'm learning, and whether that be skills and technical side of and specifics of Rugby League, or whether that be on the other side that we've got access to this and this. We've hopefully got a gym coming. We've got a wrestle room when we can go back contact. We've got a great facility at AJ Bell.